expressing his woes, he was doing what modern psychologists call a personal disintegration. That's when you look at God and look at yourself and see what you're really like. Sometimes we need to stop and do some self-examination. You might be surprised what you see. Matter of fact, you might not like what you see. You know, when you come to church, the scripture ought to do one thing. It ought to make you happy or make you mad. And sometimes some of y'all need to be mad because you need to hear the truth. And not somebody trying to tell you how good you look and how good. You need somebody to tell you need to get your act together. You've been playing around with God too long and God's on his way. How many of the Lord soon to come? And when he comes, he's coming for a bride that has made herself ready, a church that has not spot nor wrinkle. When you get ready to go out, you want to make sure you look good. So when you get ready to leave this earth, you want to make sure you look good, that you got your garments pressed and all the wrinkles gone. Now the old saying says you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can never fool God. God looks on the inward heart. He knows what you're thinking about. He knows the motive behind what you just did, So if that be the case, you need to understand, I need to come clean with God. We're talking about greater holiness, right? Greater holiness. Getting our lives lined up with God. We've spent so much time talking about minor things and skip the major things. Now, I think saints ought to look nice. You ought to dress like you come to the church. But listen, I've been around long enough to see some of the meanest things with long skirts sweeping the floor. Mean as a rattlesnake, but look the part. Preachers dressed in black suits, white shirts, black ties, white socks, black shoes, and run all the women in the church. It's time for us to come and realize what God's looking for is a church that's made herself ready for the rapture of the Lord. You don't know when the Lord's coming, but I tell you one thing, when he comes, you better be ready. You don't have time to get things in order. When he says, here comes the bride, you got to get ready to be able to march down the aisle. When you go to a wedding and the music starts, here comes the bride, when that door opens up, that bride's ready to walk through that door. Let me tell you something, I want to see Jesus. So when the door